was a young person, in my early 20s, I had the occasion to meet an evangelist. His name was Thomas Welch. And in 1923, he was a young man, and he was working on a lumber yard in Oregon, in Bridalveil, Oregon, and it's a ghost town now. But he was working as a logger, first day on the job, and they had a dam and scaffolding, and then they had, I think it's called a flume, where they pass the logs, something that might be similar to like an aqueduct. So logs had jammed. He climbed up there 55 feet high to kind of loosen the logs and get them flowing down the flume, and he fell. And he hit his head on a post 30 feet down. He fell from 55 feet, hit his head on a post 30 feet down. Then he lands in a pond, and he's submerged under 10 feet of water for 45 minutes. Wow. And everybody tried to search for him. They stopped working, and most people gave up. One guy kept searching for him and with a hook, was able to latch onto his clothes. He was at the bottom, about 10 feet down, and they pulled him out. Well, he had, in some respects, a difficult life. He was orphaned at age 11, and I don't know what drove his thinking particularly, but that's a serious life trauma to live through. And he was influenced by, some atheist philosophers, and had really adopted an atheist point of view. But his friends that were there working in Oregon, which is why he ended up there. He was Canadian. They had become devout Christians, and they heard that he had fallen and that they thought he was dead. And the wife of the couple said, "Oh no, he's going to go to hell." So they ran down to where he had fallen. When they fished him out, she's there praying for him when he comes back to life. Now, mind you, this is 45 minutes. 45 minutes underwater.
Wow. So
that's pretty dead.
Yeah. You would think like brain damage and all sorts of,
absolutely, yeah. And in natural terms, no one could survive that. And even if they did come back to life, they'd be vegetative. So anyway, she's praying for him, and he starts blinking, and then he comes back to life. Now, his story of that interval was that he found himself standing by a lake of fire.
Oh.
And he said it looked like, like waves in the lake. It actually looked like water, but it was fire. And he wasn't in it, but he felt like there was a magnetism like pulling him to it. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. And he saw a friend of his from school that had died. He saw a relative that had died. And they were just all, forlorn, and they're not talking to each other. They're just in this situation that is unbelievable and just frightening. And they knew that there was no escape from it. So Welch said that he saw the vision of someone walking across the lake. It turned out to be Jesus. And he thought, he didn't say anything, and he thought, if he looks at me, I'll be okay. So Jesus is walking across the lake and is about to walk out of sight, and then he said he turned and their eyes locked. And that's when he found himself back in his body. And so he, of course, was in the hospital, and that was a dramatic experience, obviously, and he converted, became a Christian, and he felt that the Holy Spirit was speaking to him and asking him to become a minister, become an evangelist, and tell his story. So there he is in the hospital. He's all stitched up. He's beaten up. He's in pain all over the place. And he says, "Well, okay, God, if you want me to do that, I can't do that here in the hospital." So he had this dramatic healing experience in the hospital. He gets out of bed and he takes a razor blade and cuts all the stitches out of his scalp, and he exits through the side door of the hospital.
He escapes.
He escaped. He escaped from the hospital. And then, So that I believe was a Monday, and I've treated injured workers much of my career. And after that experience, he was back on the job the following Saturday.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
So in less than a week, he's back at work.
Those are the kind of people you want to hire. Yeah.
The funny thing was, when he got back to work, everybody was standing around looking at him.
Yeah, like a ghost.
Yeah. What's he doing here? And so he was a very quiet type of person, and he just said, "All right, well, if you want to hear me tell about it, we'll meet at the church building tomorrow night, and I'll tell you the story." Mm-hmm. And that started off his lifelong career as an evangelist. Mm-hmm. And I knew him; he was in his later 70s. I was in my early 20s, and it was an interesting chance to be able to meet someone and tell that story. A friend of mine, who was also a friend of his, set up just a lunch meeting with just a handful of people, so we were able to sit around and talk and ask him questions and things like that.